Okay, so we're trying to see, have all seen this syntax and all. Now we'll look at how to execute this SOQL queries in a different ways. So first one is writing SOQL from an anonymous window. So from anonymous window, how we can write is we have to write the query in a square brackets. It could be any place when you're writing in the code, then you have to write the query in a square brackets. So here I'm trying to write a select name from an account object. I am putting in the system debug, and if I try to execute this execute highlighted line, you see the result in a log that is being generated after your code is being executed. So in the log only, we can see the query data. And the second place you can see was a query editor, where we can see the query editor. In the developer console, you can see the tabs over here, logs, tests, checkpoints, and query editor. So in the query editor, we can directly write the queries. So here I'm writing select name, comma, industry from my account. And once you do a execute over here, you can see the data in a tabular format. So you can see the buttons over here. Save rows, insert row, delete row, refresh grid, create new, open detail page, and edit page. I quickly just I'll explain those as well. When you're doing a save row, so if you want to make any changes to this data, also you can change and save the data. But for saving, you should need a ID also need to be part of your query. Then only the save and insert will be worked, and even delete any of this operation will be worked only if you use the ID column as well. And opening the detail page for any operation you want to do over here, you need the ID column. So what I'm trying to do is ID. So what is the ID here means is a Salesforce ID that is created as a unique identifier. This unique identifier for this for the records in this object. So if I want to make so the industry is blank for this one, right? Sample account and entitlements. So I want to add here as this one as a energy, and you can see the right mark that will be given for if you make any changes to the records. And if I try to save the records, it's being saved, and if you want to make sure, then you can just refresh so that you can see the changes are being reflected over here. And if you want to make sure whether it's saved or not, you can click on the record and you can open the detail page of it. It will directly take you to the Salesforce record page of that account record. So if you go to details tab and you can see the industry, or you can see here, the industry is being updated with the energy that you given. So you can do a save, and you can insert a new row as well. So you can see all are empty. So ID we don't need to give. So it is same. Um, I say my test record. I want to add the industry would be I want to give, and then I do a save. Then it's being saved. Before we have 13 records. If I refresh, now you see 14 records because I have created a one more record over here using query editor results. And here also you can directly go to the new page so that it will take you to the new page of a account record. And then what else are the buttons you can see over here. So create new, open detail page, and open edit page. If you select anyone, and you can directly go to the edit page of that record. Okay, that is in short what we can do from a query editor, and query editor results. What are the buttons that we can see in the developer console? Okay, we can make any changes and save. And if you want to reflect the changes over here, we have to use this refresh grid so that it will query again the latest data. Okay, so if you want to delete any row, you can select that row and you can delete, and yes, and if you refresh the grid, it's no longer you see that record. And so this is what the my record, right? So not this one. I not opened, I guess. So you no longer see that record, but you can see that in a recycle bin. Okay. So what is the different way of executing the query using the workbench? So this is the first time we're hearing this word workbench. So workbench is a tool or way Salesforce provide to perform different operations, and it you can log in to your Salesforce org also from the Workbench. There's a different URL I can say. So workbench dot developer force.com. This is what the URL of the Workbench. So you will be navigated to the login page. So just you can post here. I was posting right to, yeah. So there. So in the Workbench, so you have options, whether it's a production or a sandbox. You have to pick and you have to select the API version. So this API version of this Workbench you are going to select. And always you can use the latest version. So not a worry. And if you have some features that are not present in the latest one and you have in the previous version, then obviously you can use the previous versions. I don't think there are much that you can access the world. So by default, you will see the latest version you can by default use. Just you have to make sure you are agreeing the terms and conditions and login. Then it will ask you to the what is your username and password for the um your environment. So first thing, what is our developer org will be, whether it's a production or a sandbox. So the developer edition also called a production edition only, not a sandbox. So in your like I already explained it. What is the production and sandbox versions? So when you're really working in your company, then you will be having a production and sandbox versions. So based on which org you want to log in, you have to pick the option. So here for the developer edition, we have to use the production and then log in. So it will ask you, so already I have logged in, so it will take the session automatically, whichever the latest session in this browser. So I'm just trying to mention the username. So it is right, and I'm trying to allow it. As it's being allowed now. So now you see some information like tabs over here. And so here all we are trying to do is you got to go to queries and SOQL queries, async, SOQL, SOSL. So all we're trying to do was SOQL query. Salesforce object query languages. Here, this is what the UI will be. Here you can select whichever the object you're trying to query. You can see all possible objects, standard custom objects, everything that you have access. You can see here all the object list. And once you select the object and you have option to select the fields also, and you can select some fields, whatever you want, use a control button to select multiple fields, or you can directly drag and then so once you have selected, you can see the query being generated automatically into the below what I can say this box. So either you can manually write your code or you can use a selection of the fields and you can apply the filters using all this one you can do, or you can directly write the query as well. So first I will show you like whatever the query being generated will run. Oh, let's say I don't want to use this one. I want to write my own query like a name from industry from account, and I do a query also. It will all it's going to do is whatever there in this query box, only that's being executed. Even though if you have a different selection and different operators you selected, but it will only execute that is in your input box. Whatever the query it's being there, only that will be executed. Let's apply where condition on a industry field equal to I want to see the accounts which are energy. So you have total 13. So out of 13, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a 4 records with the energy. So I'm applying the where condition on industry as the energy, and I'm expecting a 4 records to be written with the industry as the energy. So you can see only 4 records you're having. So here you have a features of view as a list or view as a matrix or bulk CSV or bulk XML. So if you want to extract the data from Workbench also you can do by selecting the option called a bulk CSV and do a query. Then you have option to download the file from here so that you can export the data also using a Workbench. So you see the download option you get. So you have to see, make sure that status is completed, then only you see this download button, and then you can download the CSV files like this. Okay, so that is in short for a workbench, writing a queries in the workbench. So next one, we can write the queries in Apex classes and triggers. So these two we will see one when the scenario comes. It's nothing but directly writing in Apex classes, and this one is like it's kind of advanced, I can say. Somewhere when we reach that point, I will explain like how to write a SQL queries in a directly on the Visual Force page using a Ajax toolkit. Okay, before going to these topics or like I want to cover some of the keywords that is being used in a SQL queries. So I think this is the like easy place or easily seeing the results in one place in a workbench. So I'm going to write some examples here and using this keyword, and then we'll jump onto the Apex again. So before we getting started, so any other questions you're having, please ask.
So Bala, the workbench, do we use it in a real time? Like, what is the main use of this?
No, no, Workbench, so they are multi-purpose thing, I can say. It is not directly Salesforce and which is powered by Salesforce, but you can see so many options like for querying, and if you want to export or if you want to import some data, also you can use insert of data in bulk, like data loader we can use, but not that much big data like data loader. Like what you do with import wizard, so small data if you want to do operations, you can do that. And if you're having any kind of deployments also you can do using a workbench, deploy or retrieve, or at least like if you want to do some integrations, and if you want to check some integration that you're being exposed, all that you can check, or you can see what all the objects and fields that you can see, you can query, or if you want to check some metadata like standard objects, everything that you can see over here. It's kind of a tool that you can do a multi-purpose.
Okay, so we can do the deployment activities also using the workbench,
Yeah, you
right?
can do the deployments also.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So here all we're trying to learn in this point of time is how to write a queries using a workbench. Okay. So whatever is seeing here, so everything that will be same in all places. Okay. So we have seen, I have one condition like I'm trying to view as a list over here so that we can see. I'm applying a one where condition and saying a industry. So I want to mm, have a more values, not only the energy. I want to include the some other so multiple values I want to add. Can someone give me any idea like how to give multiple values? So not only energy, I want to look at the energy and biotechnology also. I want to see all the accounts, what are all the industry type is, energy and biotechnology. Can someone give any idea how to place where condition over here?
Using keyword and
Okay.
where.
So my first condition should be like industry, and I gave a energy. So I have to
We
use
can use like or condition, because if we use and if it is both only we get, I guess. If you use or, uh,
okay. So if I use and, what actually it means? What are all the records with the condition one is meeting, and the second condition also it has to met. So both condition has to be met, then only return the records. That's what it means. So if you take any record, it could be either energy or a biotechnology. It cannot be both, right? So what would be expected will be a zero results, no records. So if I give a or logic saying it could be energy or a biotechnology, then return yes, I will able to get. So it could be like have more values. Let's say if you're having trying to get the data from a 4 or 5 values, then you're going to keep on adding the odds. So instead of
Definitely,
doing
we
that,
can use like or in
yeah, like means like
like
yeah, like is something when you're having a similar keyword like energy or something, same keywords are there, then only we can use a like operator. But here, but here I'm having a completely different values I'm having, and I know exactly what values it is being. Then what we can use here was we had the operator called a in operator. So if you know the exact values, then only we use either equal to or in. And in the in operator, we use a comma separated values. So what are the values you having? All will be comma separated in a single quote. Let's say I have energy and I have a biotechnology. Let's say I'm having only 2 values for now. So I can remove all the values over here. So in operator is used to have a comparison with the multiple values. So the field is industry, where industry in these 2 values, any of that means like it could be energy or biotechnology, any of the values it's having, then I use the in operator. So when we know exactly the match, then only we know. So if it is I'm giving like partial, then it's not going to be work. So if any of the industry name is ENER, then it's not going to work obviously. So I have to know exact keyword, then only it is going to work in a in and equal to. Okay, no, I don't know exactly what the industry was. I know some keywords only. Then how we will use? We have a like operator what Kati has raised, so I want to cover that as well. So where I'm trying to give a industry like, that means like means what are the keyword that you're going to use if it is having um what I can say, that any of the part is also present, then also it will come. But sorry, there are some operators also we have to use when using a like. After like, we have to give some expression. In the expression will be let's say I'm giving a INE, so like INE, and if I do a query, it's not going to work. I have to give the some what the characters will be. We're having a character to match with a single or multiple characters that we are trying to look at. So here, industry like energy percentage. Let's say ENE and a percentage I want to give over here. Sorry, I have missed the where condition. Where industry like energy. So what will the percentage symbol does is it could be any number of characters that you're having after ENE that you're going to match. So let's say I'm just going to give only E. Starting letter has to be E. Then I want to return all the accounts which industry will be starting with E and then followed by any number of characters. For multiple characters, we use this percentage symbol, and it will be after and what are the characters you give the first to the, I mean, before the person character, it has to match that character exactly. Or If you want to find any of the industry which is having E keyword, uh, it- before E it could be any number of characters, after E it could be any number of characters. And if you want to search, so you have E somewhere in your industry, that is enough to return the values. Or if you're having only one character, exactly one character you want to give in your expression, then you have to use this keyword called underscore. In the underscore, if you mention exactly, there should be one letter before this expression. If you mention directly the letters in that position, the letters has to be there. And if you use an underscore, there should be exactly one character should be there. And if you mention the percentage, it could be any number of characters. So in the like operator, when using a like operator, we have to remember two keywords. One is underscore and percentage. Underscore means referring to a single character. It has to exactly one character should be there. Let's say if I gave two underscores and I'm trying to do a search. So before n, there should be a two characters. So here you see there's a CO, exactly two characters. So it is returning the value. But if you give one character, it will get the energy. So if you know exactly the character, then you have to give this underscore. You don't know the number of characters, then you have to give the percentage symbol. Okay, that is on the like operator. In like and or also we have seen. Now not. If uh, not means you, if we have a kind of opposite, what I can say. Mm, if you have one condition in a pair and if you want to do exactly opposite, then you will use the not operator. Okay, so forgot. I guess whether it will work or not, let's see. So whatever the expression you're having, if you apply the not operator, it will behave exactly opposite to it. Okay, make, I hope it makes sense to you. And then order by. If you see there is, I don't think we have not mentioned any of the order, but whatever the where condition you're having, if you want to sort this records by any of the fields, let's say I want to sort with the name. When you sort with the name, so I not mention whether it's ascending or descending. By default, it will be taken as a ascending. So here you can see B, D, E, 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 G, and U. So if you want to give ascending also, there will be no difference. Why? Because by default, it will sorted in a ascending operation only. And if you want to give a descending, then all the bottom you will be see in the reverse order, like this. And there will be a one more operator also we have here called nulls. So let's say because in name field we don't have any null values, but if in the industry, if you see, there is one place where you have a there is no data. So if I sort with an industry, I mean if I do order by an industry, if you see nulls are coming at the last, but my expectation or what I want is nulls has to come first. So how I can give here nulls first, and if I do a query, nulls first. I'm giving correct syntax or not. Nulls first, nulls, okay, nulls first. It has to come first. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, let me check with the ascending maybe, because it might not be a null. It might be empty space. That's why it may not be working. Um, Let me take a better example because it might not be a null value because it might be an empty value. So empty or null both will be shown as a empty values here. If it is empty, then the nulls may not work. So as I'm trying to explain was not only ascending and descending in a order. If you want to control the null values, then we have to use them nulls first or nulls last keyword to control whether we want to display the null values at the end or at the first. Hope this is there is some value other than null. That's why it's not working. Let us take a different field. Annual revenue. Let's say I was trying to take a annual revenue. So here also I see there are some values or having blank. So I'm not sure whether it's null or blank because it's a numerical values, right? So I guess it's not a blank. So I'm not mentioning anything over here. Order by annual revenue. So it is ascending. It is being done. I want to see nulls at the last. I think I had to use the keyword ascending or descending. Let's see. So I see the null values are coming at the end. And so here I am not sure which order it's being executed. So I will mention it as by default is ascending, right? So even if you mention or not mention, it will do in a ascending order. So even if I do a descending also, I'm keeping a null set the last. Even if you see the descending order also, the null values are at the last. So in net, what you're trying to explain here was so order by is used to sort the order of your list, and here you can use a keyword ascending or descending, and then followed by if you have any null values, you can control the null values at the last or first. If you don't apply anything over here, one ascending will be at one end and descending will be null values at the one end. Descending, when you use a descending, its null values are coming at the first. If you use ascending, then also null values are at the first. So the null values will be by default coming at the first place. If you want to control exact to be last or first, you can use a nulls last or nulls first. Just I will mention here nulls first, nulls last. As in order by. And now this is what the interesting one group by. So if you're seen so far, like directly fields we are mentioning and we are applying the where conditions we are trying to order and all. Oh, sorry, before jumping on to the group by, we will see the limit and the offset. Mention.
Follow-up question.
Yeah.
In the annual revenue descending order, there are some values are not in order. 3, 5, 1.
No, it's,
Again,
no, it's not a 3 actually. If you see, this is a showing in the exponential format. So it is multiplied by 7 zeros. E7 means. If it is E8 means multiplied by 8 zeros. So
okay,
even
okay,
though
got
it is, that's why like it's being displayed like that. So it is in the correct order only. Okay. Yeah, something. Yeah, limit and offset. So I want to limit. Sorry. I want to limit these records. So by default, I'm getting a 9 records, right? If I want to limit 100 records, there will not be any change. When there will be a change to this query? Can someone tell me when we'll see change over here? When we give a number less than the actual result, then only we see the change. Otherwise, the maximum only we're giving. If we give a 10 also, the maximum we are saying as a 10 records only you have to return. Then because already it's 9 records, so there will not be any change. If you're giving a limit, which is less than the actual result, then only you will see the difference. So when you're saying a limit, it will be taking only first 5 records. Okay. So we will not expect till the 9 records when you do the next time. Okay. So here I'm using ascending. If I use a descending order, then it will be a different list. Why? Because so ignore about the limit, and whatever the result you are getting, in those result, whatever the first 5 records are there, it will only return those first 5 records. And if you mention here null should be at last, then the result will be a different now. So whatever there in the first 5 records, it will be displaying over here. Okay. Now, if you having a offset also, what actually offset does? Offset will skip the records. How many records that you can skip? Let's say I want to skip 10 records and limit 5 records. What it will do, whatever your result is being there, it will skip the first 10 records and it will start from 11th record. And from 11th record, your limit will work. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So these 5 records being displayed. If you don't have that result, it will be like nothing will be written over there. So if I remove this offset to let's say 3 records and query, you will be having some data. So if I do a 4 also, it will work to the 5 records. If we having started increase, why? Because only 9 records we are having. We start increasing the offset, obviously you will get the less records. So we got out of 9 records, you are skipping 6 and you will have only 3 records left, and those will be shown here. And when you have both limit and offset, first you have to mention the limit, then you have to give the offset. Okay, any questions over here so far?
So if I want to skip the middle record, so how can I do that?
No, we cannot skip middle records.
Okay.
We don't have option. So either you can skip first records, and even we cannot skip the last also. So offset means it will define from which record you have to start. So obviously we are doing a skip the first records. So offset means initial or a starting point. What offset actually means is a starting point. Okay.
Okay.
And limit is whatever you're having, you're trying to limit the result. That's what a limit. Okay, and for update, so we already seen here we cannot actually replicate the use of for update over here. Why? Because before that, if somebody was trying to make the operation, and this operation will be really in a fraction of seconds, so we are not doing even any operations over here, so that cannot be what we can say, that we cannot test here. Okay, and for update has to be a somewhere in the exact position. So for a bit can be used before limit and offset. So before limit and offset only we have to use this for update keyword. Okay, not allowed in this context. Yeah, in the workbench, this doesn't make sense to apply for. Why? Because we are not updating any operations here. So it not be context in this one. So let's see whether, I guess even the query editor also we cannot do, but let's try and see. For limit, if you're trying to do a for update, same thing here also, and maybe I think it will work over here. Why? Because it's the kind of apex only. For update, and try to highlight it. Obstructed token. Okay, sorry. So, just trying whether it's syntax or it's not allowing. I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, it is working. Yeah, it has to be after the limit. That's why it is not allowing. Okay, for upset, when we having a for update, we cannot use offset. There will be a restriction. We cannot use it. So this how like why because we cannot replicate exactly what is the use of for update in those scenarios when we have like long running operations and all. We'll check out that one. Okay, how to replicate this one for update. Okay, and all rows. In the workbench also we can see over here. You can see here at deleted and archive records exclude or include. So by default it could be exclude, and if you just do include as well. And query 14 records. Now we have a trick like which is deleted, which are not deleted. If you remember, I have deleted some accounts, right? So we have created some and deleted some. If you want to know which accounts are coming from a recycle bin, or if in short, what we can use here, all rows. So here also we had like a feature to exclude or allow here. So what I will do here was I will use this one. By default, it's having a feature to exclude or include, which is surpassing the all rows feature. So I will use over here all rows and query. Again, same thing we're getting. Okay, but how we'll know? All we what we can do was we'll reduce other fields so we can have it name and saying all rows, but we cannot see all the data in a debug log. So here what we can check here was dot size. How many records we're getting? We don't just one. And here we have option to include the deleted records. It will also does the same thing. We have 14 records, so size will be 14 will get. Why? Because there are some records which are deleted also we're getting.